Welcome to the Nogtog channel. My boyfriend gave me 3,000 yuan to organize a 10-day company team building event in Hawaii. He particularly emphasized that we should go there for fun. However, the daily expenses for more than 10 people would be more than 1,000 yuan, and the 10-day budget was simply not enough. In order to save money, I decided not to take the high-speed train, but to rent a bus instead. After arriving in Hawaii, my boyfriend generously invited everyone to dinner at a 5-star restaurant. Everyone said that I had a good reputation, but suddenly the money was almost gone. It rained heavily that night, and more than 10 people had nowhere to stay, so they had to squeeze together in a bridge opening. Everyone was even more dissatisfied with me. My boyfriend, however, said that the view from the bridge opening was quite nice, and asked everyone not to blame me. My colleagues kept complaining, thinking that I had not planned well, and some even suspected that I had embezzled the money. I was really aggrieved, and I looked at my boyfriend, hoping that he could help me explain. But he actually put all the blame on me. He said, "I followed your travel guide, but why did the unique hotel turn out to be a bridge?" But that was a travel guide I designed for couples, and the budget was 3,000 yuan for 2 people for 10 days. My colleagues started to laugh at me, so I had no choice but to pay half a month's salary myself and stay in that unique hotel. As it turned out, that hotel was not very safe later, and a group of robbers entered. My boyfriend said that all the money was with me, so he pushed me in front of the robbers and tried to use me to exchange for the freedom of the others. But I had already spent all the money, so I had nothing to give the robbers. When the robbers didn't get the money, they planned to kill me to keep me quiet. Our story officially begins. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day I rented the bus. Suddenly someone complained loudly, and everyone became unhappy. Hawaii is so far away, and the bus ride would take all day, right? Why didn't the company choose the high-speed train at its own expense? Once this matter was mentioned, everyone felt aggrieved. More than 10 people looked at me with dissatisfied eyes. "Megan White, you're being so stingy. The high-speed train is fast and comfortable. It's not good to waste everyone's time and energy like this, is it? I sat on the bus all day and my bones are stiff. How can I have the heart to play? The company is willing to pay, so what are you saving your energy for?" These words sounded familiar to me and really gave me a headache. But it also made me realize that I have truly been reborn. In my previous life, Jason Chan gave me 3,000 yuan to organize a 10-day team building activity. At the time, I felt something wasn't quite right. After all, I had arranged the trip myself, and since it was just the two of us going, 3,000 yuan was simply not enough for a dozen people to have fun. And he wasn't even willing to take responsibility. The boss gave me 3,000 yuan, so there was nothing I could do. You need to control your spending and spend money on what really matters. If the overrun isn't too big, we can let the employees share the burden a little. Jason Chan shook my arm affectionately and said, "Honey, just do me a favor. Okay? I'm about to get a promotion, and if I do a good job organizing this team building activity, I might get a pay raise. And since we're getting married soon, if he gets a pay raise, it'll be a little easier for us after we get married." I was a little unhappy about it, but I nodded. When we got there, my boyfriend took everyone to a 5-star hotel for dinner, which ended up costing a fortune. The night was even worse. Suddenly it started to pour. There were more than 10 people with suitcases, and they couldn't find a place to stay. They had to squeeze into a bridge hole temporarily, which made everyone even more dissatisfied with me. Everyone was there to save money, and the accommodation was not good. My colleagues were complaining, thinking that I wasn't prepared. Some people suspected that I was hiding money or taking kickbacks. I felt aggrieved, so I looked at Jason Chan, hoping that he could help me explain. We had discussed it before, and everyone was going to chip in a little. But he put all the blame on me. "I've read your travel guide, but why did the special hotel turn out to be a bridge? You have to have a conscience. The company doesn't pay you to just sit around." My colleagues started to make a fuss and put pressure on me, saying that if I couldn't get us a special hotel, they would complain to the boss together. Seeing my boyfriend acting like it was none of his business, I was really helpless. There was no choice, so I gritted my teeth and paid out of my own pocket, spending half a month's salary to get us into a special hotel. It turned out that this hotel was not very safe, and a group of robbers broke in. They said that travelers must have a lot of cash with them, and quickly took out all the money. Jason-chan pushed me towards the robbers in order to protect everyone, in exchange for the safety of the others. However, we had already spent all our money, and I had no money to give the robbers. As a result, the robbers couldn't get the money and decided to kill us to keep us quiet. Thinking about this, I felt so angry that I glared at Jason-chan. And there was Bella Sue standing next to him, taking the lead in making everyone blame me. She looked up, not at all afraid, and continued speaking. Do you really want to embezzle money from the company? It seems that you want to save expenses and do something sneaky. Hearing the sensitive words embezzle and kickbacks, everyone's reaction became more and more intense. Bella Sue was right. She was just an intern, and she had no grudges against anyone, so there was no need to falsely accuse Megan White. More than 10 of us went out for 7 days, and the company must have spent a lot of money. I think she might be trying to do something improper. That's really selfish, taking advantage of other people to satisfy yourself. Bella Sue spoke again. Mr. Chan said, just take the bus. I'll take you all out for something delicious after we get off. Jason-chan also chimed in. There are a lot of local delicacies in Hawaii, so everyone just bear with it a little longer, so that we can eat all this delicious food. Seeing how well they were in sync, I couldn't help but smile to myself. It was obvious that they were conspiring against me. First, they stirred up everyone's emotions, making me the bad guy. Then he came out and gave everyone some small benefits, making everyone think that he was very nice. Then he deliberately embarrassed me, making everyone feel even more that Jason-chan was a good guy. I was the only one taking all this on, while they knew how to get along with people. Seeing Bella Sue naturally hugging Jason-chan and smiling sweetly at me, I could only blame myself for being so stupid for not realizing their relationship. Since they treated me like this, I didn't need to worry about anything anymore. I directly opened the suitcase, shook a few dresses, and then showed everyone the shoes. The funds for this event were originally not much, and if you hadn't suspected me of embezzling the money, you would have given it all to me long ago. As I said, I took out the cash from my handbag. Let everyone confirm that I only brought 3,000 yuan, and then I will divide this money among everyone. This time I only got 3,000 yuan in total, so let's divide it up and don't bother me for the next 10 days. I'll pay for the bus fare. And if anyone is unhappy, they can just buy their own high-speed train tickets. As for the rest of the trip, you can figure it out for yourselves, because I'm not doing this tour guide thing anymore. After saying this, I turned directly and got on the bus. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and when they looked at the money in their hands, they realized that it was only 300 yuan. They didn't know whether to get on the bus or not, and it was really embarrassing. Everyone was silent for a while. No one said a word, and then they got on the bus methodically. After all, no one wanted to spend a few hundred yuan on high-speed rail tickets, not to mention having to stay in a hotel afterwards. 10 days of fun. This is no joke. Even if you put in another 1,000 yuan yourself, it's not enough for 10 days of fun. And where would you get the money for the high-speed rail? After almost 10 hours on the bus, everyone was quiet. The sound of typing on mobile phone screens kept ringing. Everyone was thinking, needless to say, about complaining about the boss for paying them too little, or about me taking kickbacks. When we arrived at our destination, I suddenly remembered what Bella Sue had said before, that Jason-chan would treat everyone to a delicious meal. So everyone's faces brightened, and they started chatting and laughing about which street to go to next for dinner. Just as everyone was looking up places to eat on their phones, I raised a question. Didn't Bella Sue say that Mr. Chan always wanted to take us to eat delicious food? He must have already found a place, so why bother trying to find one ourselves? We might as well just let Mr. Chan take us there directly. Jason-chan looked a little unhappy. I guess he had originally wanted to take everyone to a 5-star restaurant and pay the bill with the 3,000 yuan. In this way, not only did he make me lose face, he also won everyone's praise, and he didn't spend a penny himself. I never thought that by giving the money away, I would take away his advantage. He gritted his teeth and forced a smile, saying, yes, it's still the 5-star hotel. I've already made the reservation. After saying that, He glanced at me, feeling a little upset, and then walked in front of us, leading the way. That meal in my previous life cost almost 2,000 yuan. Jason Chun is so thrifty, so he must be feeling a lot of pain, right? Thinking about this made me feel a lot better. So I followed the group and secretly booked a hotel room with a big bed on my phone. To avoid a repeat of the last situation, I didn't choose a hotel with special features, but instead found a slightly more expensive but very secure chain hotel. Whoever wants to lose the money they got robbed can. I don't want to be the unlucky one. I didn't have to worry about not having enough money. I had a very delicious meal. I also tried some special foods, like fried silkworm pupae and fried grasshoppers. Actually, these are also found in Jiangsu, but Jason Chan doesn't like them. He thinks they're disgusting, so he doesn't let me try them. He says that if he thinks about the bugs exploding in his mouth when we kiss, he'll want to throw up. But now I'm having a good time eating them, one after the other. After all, I'm not interested in this man, so why should I care what he likes or doesn't like? Jason Chan, on the other hand, hardly ate anything during the whole process, just drinking some plain water. After paying the bill, I asked him again, "Where are you going to stay tonight?" I can see that Mr. Chan has already arranged his food, so he must have thought about where to stay, right? I glanced at my phone casually and oops, it's pouring outside. Mr. Chan, don't tease. Hurry up and take us to where we're staying. If we're late, the rooms will be gone. We can't sleep in a bridge hole, can we? He got excited, took a deep breath and choked on the water, coughing for a long time before he could speak. Bella Sue nervously patted his back, but Jason Chan signaled her with his eyes and gave me an unhappy glare. Didn't you make a travel guide earlier? Take us to that special hotel you chose. How do you know there's a special hotel in my travel guide? Who told you? Was it Mr. Chan? Why would he tell you that? What's your relationship with my boyfriend? Why would he share these things with you when he's out having fun? Bella Sue blushed when I asked, unable to say a word. At that moment, Jason Chan and Bella Sue's hands happened to touch. Everyone's eyes suddenly became very strange, looking at each other a few times, as if they had guessed that there was something unusual about their relationship. Yes, rumors are sometimes as simple as that. One look, one small action, one sentence is enough. Because that specialty hotel was not very safe, I did not go with everyone. I said goodbye at the fork in the road. The company's budget was not enough, so I would not stay at that hotel. After I said that, I didn't care what anyone else thought and went straight to the double room I had booked. Actually, I did warn them about the robbers. In a previous life, Jason Chan pushed me out of the way to protect me, but no one else around me came to my aid. There were only 3 robbers in total, each with a pocket knife, so they weren't really a threat. If we had all 10 of us gone at them together, we probably could have overpowered them. So, when it comes to the danger I was in, everyone actually bears some responsibility. If I had told everyone in advance that there would be robbers at that hotel, I think everyone would have thought I was crazy. So I thought, I'd better stay out of it and see how things develop. I wanted to see who they would send in my place. As it turned out, they did encounter robbers again. This time, everyone had money, but something went wrong and affected everyone's interests. They joined forces and worked together to successfully catch the robbers and became the talk of the town. Due to the accident, the trip had to end early, and they were all sent back to Jiangsu. Fortunately, I escaped unscathed, not only saving my life, but also not having to go back with them. Putting down my phone, I continued to enjoy my vacation in Hawaii alone. I returned to work on the first day, only to find out from HR that the boss was very unhappy with me and had suspended me. I handed over all the projects I was working on to Bella Sue, but I was especially resentful. I have always done a good job, so why can the company suspend me at will? The Human Resources Department said helplessly that it was useless to talk to me, and that I should go to the big boss. As I was leaving, I heard her chatting with someone else. I really don't understand what she is so pleased about, acting so arrogantly after doing something like that. When I got back to my seat, I was furious. My desk was a mess, and even my computer was broken. A colleague who was on speaking terms with me asked me quietly, "Have you not been online for the past 2 days? A lot of people are cursing you. I heard that the boss didn't fire you directly, because he felt that you still have something to contribute to the company. Bella Sue said these things and then walked out of Jason Chen's office with her head held high. The other colleagues quickly retreated for fear of being implicated. Hey, isn't this the big internet celebrity in our company? Bella Sue walked over mockingly and continued, You just returned from Hawaii this morning, didn't you? Have you not yet gone home? How dare you come to work at the company? After saying this, she crossed her arms and looked on with amusement. Mr. Chan told me to give you the project information. I know your computer is not very stable, you should have a backup, right? I looked pale and left without saying anything. I am not the only one responsible for this project. Even if I am the final person in charge, Bella Sue can get the backup from other people. She is just looking for trouble with me now. I have to figure out what is going on first. Recently I have been a bit distracted and forgot that Bella Sue is a troublemaker. The robbery was pretty big news. When I opened the software, the top 8 searches were about it, and 2 of them were about me. I found it strange. Why did Megan White stay in a different hotel during team building? She must know something. Why did they suddenly split up? The robbers could have been hired by her. Her boyfriend said she planned the trip. We need to investigate. Hawaii is close to the border, and there are always bad guys stirring up trouble. Don't worry too much, the person upstairs. Didn't she say she had a fight with her boyfriend? There's definitely something fishy going on here. Don't get Hawaii wrong, the security here is pretty good. You are especially welcoming to tourists and sincerely entertain everyone. There are a lot of comments online, most of which criticize me for living in a different hotel from everyone else. In fact, it's not because of anything else, it's just because all of us in the group of more than 10 people have encountered problems, and I have avoided trouble as if I knew in advance, which really makes people feel strange. Thinking about Bella Sue's confident manner, it seems that my home address may have been revealed. If I go home, I may be besieged by a group of angry people. So I found a hotel to stay temporarily. I have been watching videos of police officers in uniform robbing robbers and surviving the aftermath. An idea suddenly came to my mind. Since Bella Sue used public opinion to get me fired, why can't I use this as material? Immediate action. I have a bad habit of always recording at any time. It's necessary for work. When discussing projects, I often encounter people who don't keep their word. They promise a lot at the table, but when they wake up in the morning, they don't remember a thing. I always carry a voice recorder with me. I recorded the discussion with Jason Chan about team building, including before getting into the car. Then, I intercepted intimate photos of Bella Sue and Jason Chan, and compiled them into a 58-page dossier. Next, I contacted some WE media bloggers and reporters, and told them that there was new information about this matter, but I didn't disclose my identity. They came to me on their own. Within a few days, the comments on the internet changed. Many people began to support me, saying that I was right. How could I, a native of Jiangsu, know which hotel in Hawaii would have robbers? As the situation grew more and more serious, I turned on the live streaming software. As a result, my live streaming room suddenly filled with more than 100,000 viewers. Everyone was asking, Anchor, did your boyfriend betray you? Did you make your own travel guide to Hawaii? Did you know that there would be robbers at that hotel? And is there a reason why you can't show your face? I read the comments one by one and replied to each one. To be honest, I'm not really sure if my boyfriend has betrayed me this time. I had planned a honeymoon, and I made all the travel guides myself, planning to go with him. But now the situation is a bit complicated. I've been targeted and even my desk has been messed up. I don't know what's going on at home. Under my guidance, the audience began to focus on topics that everyone was interested in. Did he betray me this time? Tell me. That sounds like a real bombshell. I can't stop laughing. He had indeed been unfaithful before, and I found out about it. But it wasn't a long-term affair. He begged me to calm down and not make things more complicated. At that time, we were already talking about getting married. He promised that he would never make the same mistake again, and begged me to forgive him this time. That time it was really serious, and even my aunt and uncle came to persuade me. I was weak at the moment and forgave him. I thought that since I had something on him, he wouldn't make the same mistake again. Oh, You still have something on him. What is it? Is it worse than cheating on you and going to prostitutes? I paused for a moment, hinting, let's not talk about it now, after all, this isn't just about Jason Chun. To attract the audience, I played a pre-recorded sound, pretending that someone was knocking hard on the door outside my room. Then the camera shook suddenly and the broadcast was interrupted. Everyone was interested in the Hawaii trip. And now this situation made the people involved feel that their personal safety was threatened. The hot search terms instantly filled up the screen, and even the elderly people with Nokia phones or the villagers living in the mountains heard about it. Anyone with access to the internet and a color TV at home knew about it. Everyone in the country was waiting to see what would happen next. Jason Chun was now extremely anxious and kept looking for me around the clock. He contacted me by phone if he couldn't get through on WeChat, and sent me a text if he couldn't get through on the phone. You even found my social media and chat platforms that I hadn't used in a long time. What are you up to? Are you trying to screw me over? Megan White, have you lost your mind? Don't forget, I still have your intimate photos. If you don't get back to me, I'll release them in the videos and you'll be in big trouble. You're not going to disappear on me, are you? Don't scare me like that. Everyone is waiting for your news, and if you suddenly disappear, what will people think of me? Megan, please, for the sake of our many years together, just let me off the hook this time. Please come out and explain that this is all just hype. I promise that I will treat you like the most important person in my life from now on. Okay? I was lying on the big bed in the hotel, feeling really good, eating takeaway. My phone kept receiving voice messages from Jason Chun. At first he was very tough, threatening me, but then he started begging me, which was a dramatic turn of events. Seeing how things were getting bigger and bigger online, I turned on the live streaming software again. This time the number of viewers in the broadcast room broke the record, with almost 300 million people watching. I walked slowly towards the police station, watched by the people around me. As the saying goes, if you do good, you shouldn't be afraid of other people's opinions. If I really did something wrong, then let the law deal with it. This broadcast will not be interrupted. I have already reported to the police. Everyone will naturally understand the truth later. Seeing that I was so determined, they stopped arguing and waited quietly for things to develop. When I arrived at the police station, the police wanted me to turn off the live broadcast. I shook my head and refused. It's not that I don't trust the police, it's that I don't trust those media reporters. They like to make things up and exaggerate. Even if I came to the police myself, everyone would know what happened, but in their mouths it might turn into me turning myself into the police. This live broadcast is not just to show you the truth behind it. It is also the only way for me to prove myself. At the police station, I first played the recording of Jason Chun. Then I also showed the evidence of catching him. When he was young, he was able to become a senior executive mainly because of his high education and my previous help. He claimed to have a PhD in economics from Huaqing University, and had even studied abroad. Since I started dating him, I've noticed that his behavior and knowledge level don't match up with someone with a high degree. Later, when I went to his house as a guest, I discovered that his degree was fake. Not only was his degree fake, but everything else he said about studying abroad as an exchange student, his parents being senior intellectuals, his relatives being big bosses, etc., was all made up. His family is nothing but a bunch of liars. As for the way I mentioned to give way and make way, it was actually because he was the project manager at the time and I was also very competitive. When we were in love, he once said that I could marry him, and that I didn't have to work hard because there was a maid at home and I could just be a rich wife. Who hasn't fantasized about such a good life? I impulsively agreed at the time. Moreover, I gave up an important position to him and beat all the competitors. Later, he said that he was busy with business and socializing every day, and hoped that I could help him with project proposals and report preparation. I had nothing to do at home every day, so I helped him out. Now he is a project manager, leading a pretty good life, and has even met a younger and prettier girl. He feels that I am no longer useful to him, and wants to get rid of me. So he and Bella Sue worked together to set me up. First, they got the company to fire me, ruining my reputation and making it impossible for me to find a job, so that I had to rely on him. Next, he broke up with me and dumped me for good. Although in my previous life I was killed by a mugger, which was an accident. Even without that accident, I have to admit that Jason Chen's plan was perfect. However, it seems that God didn't want me to lose again, so I was reborn. I won't let him get away with it again. Because I have solid evidence that Jason Chan forged his academic qualifications and attacked me online with Bella Sue. The police station decided to summon the two of them immediately. Perhaps because they felt that things were not going well after watching my live broadcast, they ran away with the money. But they underestimated the police. Within 2 hours of the warrant being issued, they were arrested. The reason for their arrest was quite funny. Bella Sue saw Jason Chan carrying a large bag of money and insisted on getting a full gold foil facial mask. In fact, they had already fled to another province and were just one step away from leaving the country. Because of the money, the police quickly found them. Bella Sue was arrested before she could even get dressed and was taken back to Jiangsu. She was seen again during a prison visit. Jason Chan, I never thought you would find someone like this after you left me. I am now the vice chairman, and my position is not low. The boss even promised to give me 20% of the shares in order to keep me. This position is much higher than yours. Jason Chen's eyes were red, and he was slapping hard on the other side of the glass. The prison guard next to him handed him 2 electric batons, and he immediately fell to the ground and convulsed. Bella Sue, on the other side, was sitting there in tattered clothes, having obviously been taught a lesson by the others in prison. Seeing the current miserable state of the couple made me feel particularly good. I left in style, wearing my new designer clothes, carrying my bag and sunglasses. Enjoy the rest of your life, my dear.